Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics wrapping up practice after their final preseason game against the Raptors up in Toronto, and we got a glean of some of the opening night plans here. Celtics went pretty long. This was that last practice of training camp essentially here before opening night. You had Justin Jackson, Noah Vonleh learning yesterday they had made this team, so the Celtics final 15 set. The first 13, and then Noah Vonleh, the center, former number 9 overall pick who has played for the Knicks, Hornets, among other teams early in his career, coming over from China last year, made this roster. And Justin Jackson, who came to the Celtics on a hardship exemption contract last year during that COVID surge, didn't play, caught COVID himself, but I got to know this organization, some of the players, some of the coaches a little bit here, returned on a summer league deal after going back to the G League, blew up the summer league. He was great there, up and down this preseason, but did enough to show this group he could be that depth forward. He said he's ready to go if anything happens in that wing spot. So he's on the back end of that rotation, and they'll round out this roster. Non-guaranteed deals for both Vonleh and Jackson. A portion of that gets guaranteed, and then you get to January, and it'll be a fully guaranteed deal for both, around $2 million. In terms of the guys who are going to be out there opening night, Joe Mazzulla still undecided on a starting lineup. Derrick White started in place of Robert Williams all 4 preseason games, had a strong showing in the first 3, and then exploded for 5 of 6 3-point shooting to start Friday's game. Automatic in the corner. Toronto left him open. He made them pay, along with all the screening, defense, other things that he does in that spot. Though hunted a little bit on the defensive end. Celtics play smaller, get beat bad on the rebounding in the preseason. So that's a balance. It's going to be intriguing. Is Mazzulla showing a facade to other teams around the league by going to some of these smaller lineups, and then ultimately they're going to return to double big? I think that's a question we'll learn eventually when Robert Williams comes back. But to Mazzulla, everything we've heard from him, at least philosophically, from his coaching standpoint early this season, is that he wanted this offense to open up, improve, become more versatile and dynamic, and small ball has allowed them to do that. They were explosive shooting the ball in the preseason. Most three-point attempts per game, most three-pointers made per game, along with the most assists per game of any NBA team through that 4-game stretch there. I like it. There's some weaknesses, there's some bad matchups, but we know that the Celtics are going to be able to play different styles to address possible opponents, and who's better than the 76ers on Tuesday, who are going to be on the offensive glass, have 2 bigs out there in PJ Tucker, Joel Embiid, have as imposing of a matchup at that point of attack at center as any team in the league. So we'll get a good sense of how the Celtics can handle size. It's interesting to think about after how big they played last season, but they're going to be on the smaller side this year. They're going to have to gang rebound. They're going to have to help possibly inside at certain situations if they're switching. Now it looks like they'll be able to start with a big and a drop, go to some more switching today, we learned. On the defensive end, that seems to be the plan on that side of the floor. And then on offense, as we've talked about, it's guard screening. It's everybody capable of handling the ball. It's a shared responsibility for facilitation. We got a pretty good feel through a couple weeks of training camp here, through 4 preseason games, of what Joe Mazzulla's Celtics are going to look like. And he's excited to open up that offense, be more dynamic, shoot the ball, pace, space, all those different things we saw, and it might make this team a little bit more fun to watch this year. I'm very intrigued by some of the things they're doing here and that they're going to do when the season gets started on Tuesday against the 76ers. We will be there. I'm sure there'll be a walkthrough tomorrow that we'll check in on here at Auerbach Center, but then Tuesday night, the Celtics are back officially against the 76ers, opening night of the NBA season. The opening game of this 2022-23 season is at TD Garden. We'll be there covering it. CLNS Media, Celtics All Access. Subscribe to both of those channels for some highlights from today. And then, of course, we're brought to you by com.com/Garden gets you 40% off a premium subscription to sleep sounds, meditation, yoga, and more. And then Athletic Greens, athleticgreens.com/garden. It's a whole food source powder that gets you vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, vitamin D. Get a year's supply when you go over there to athleticgreen.com, greens.com, and 5 free travel packs of that powder. Year's supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs, as well as some cool gear if you're signing up for the subscription. I'm Bobby Manning here at Auerbach Center. This has been a practice edition of the Garden Report. We'll talk to you soon.